Oh, this is Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. So proud to be with you again today. I've been sitting here for an hour or two or three studying and decided I'd go ahead and do one of these little 10-minute things, and then the 30 minutes or so it takes to load it, go ahead and do some more studying. Otherwise, I'm burning hours and hours of time, and it seems like I've not yet developed the proper program for loading. One day I may achieve that, Lord willing. And so here we are. We're looking at chapter 11 of the book of Hebrews. This is called the Faith chapter. Now, I am looking forward to the day when I get to heaven in faith, the same exact faith that carried every single one of the guys mentioned here to heaven, which were our forefathers, is going to carry me to heaven. And when I get up there, it's going to be for eternity. So there's not going to be any time. There's not going to be any days, weeks, months, and years. And because of that, we will have eternity to discuss and talk with each other about things, and Lord willing, the things of the past. These guys were given for an example for you and I. The things they did with the example. The things that they were with the example. For instance, Abraham, when he was told to get out of the land where he was, and he did. And he went. He moved. And he moved over to Ur. He went to the land God told him to go to. And by faith, he was moved. By faith, Abel offered unto God a proper sacrifice. He died for it. He died for that sacrifice. The first murdered person was a martyr. He was martyred for doing what God said to do. God said, shed the blood of an innocent little lamb, and that's all I require. But the devil come along and tells Cain, God would be more happy with you if you brought wagon loads of vegetables and wagon loads of stuff and stacked it all under a tree and offered it up to God. Well, what Mr. Cain did not think about was a lot of things. First thing it was, he was breaking a commandment he had been taught. You say, how do you know he was taught that he was Abel's brother? I'm sure that Adam and Eve taught Cain and Abel the same exact thing. But Cain was rebellious. The rebellion that was in the Garden of Eden was in Cain. And Cain rebelled. And because he did, his offering was not accepted. So, besides that, what would God do? God doesn't eat the food that's offered to him on this earth. What would he do with all them rotten vegetables? It's not going to take but a few days, or one day maybe, for it all to start rotting. All right, so here we are, Cain and Abel. Now, Abel's blood cried out to God from the earth, and God took him on to heaven. By faith, Enoch was translated to heaven. I want to sit down and talk with him. Do I want to talk with Enoch? I'd like to know about this guy that went to heaven, just walking with God, and God just translated him. God just took him on up there. Wow. And then I would love, and I can't hardly wait, I want to talk with Noah. I want to talk with Noah about his 100 years building the ark. I like carpenter work. I'm a paint contractor. I love the carpenter. I want to talk to Noah about that ark he built. You know, God gave him the dimensions. God gave him the directions. God gave him the ability. God gave him the help. He gave him the people. He gave him the carpenters to know how to use the saw, to use the axe. He gave him the people that knew how to pitch it within and without so it wouldn't leak. He knew how to put the bottom together so that when the ocean and the waters broke up and came up under this great 300 and something feet long ark, that it didn't just blow all to pieces and fall apart. Not only that, it was loaded with hundreds of thousands of pounds of animals and food and stuff. Can you imagine? This is no little feat. This is a great feat done in a day when you and I would think, how would they do such a thing? How did they saw the wood? How did they cut the logs? What did they use? How did they put the bottom together so it didn't come apart when it was hit by the first gush of water? The Bible said that the water didn't just rise from above, it blew up from beneath. Can you imagine a fountain of water springing up under the ark and raising it? The stress and the tension. Another thing is, you're not going to be on an ocean of water. The earth's covered with water, and it be calm all the time. You're going to bounce up and down. You're going to blow in the great wind. And there was a great wind that blew the ark around on the water. It didn't stay in one place. It wasn't anchored off and stayed there in one place. There was 1,500 furlongs of water. The water was 2 or 3 miles deep, all over the whole known earth. Matter of fact, it was more than 2 or 3 miles. It was several miles deep. I want to talk to Noah about that. Wouldn't you love to talk to Noah about that? By faith, Abram. Wow. Man, aren't you going to be... I want to sit down and talk with Abram. I want to talk with Sarah. I want to talk with Hagar. I want to talk with some of those folks up there when we get there. And in that city, in that country, God's got a country, and in that country, God's got a city. And in that city, Jesus is there right now, building you and I a mansion. He said if it were not so, he wouldn't have told us. He said, where I go, there you may come also, and you can be there. And when Jesus went there, he carried paradise with him. He carried these Old Testament saints up there, and Moses and Elijah. My goodness. I want to talk with Isaac. Don't you want to talk with Isaac about Rebekah? Can you imagine Isaac's heart when Rebekah lighted off that camel? Can you see a woman, by the way, lighting off a candle, jumping off that camel? I mean, you know something, usually the camels got down on their knees and let you off gently. When she saw Isaac, boy, her heart did the flip-flops. She just, woof, lighted off. That was some woman. That was some woman that watered all of her camels, all of her animals, and watered the other man's too, without question, and did it intentionally and on purpose. That was some woman. I'm here to tell you, God sent Isaac a bride in Rebekah that was out of this world. She was in the world, yet she was a woman a great, great woman.